Let's just jump right into what happened overnight, last night, early this morning. We actually, our systems were offline for a little bit. It was touch or go whether or not we were going to be able to have a morning newscast. I know a lot of people logging in this morning got these blue Microsoft screens, that basically said error. What happened, I guess, or what do we think happened so far?
Yeah, for the average Joe, if I'm explaining this to my mom, because she asked me, she called this morning and said she saw a billboard that had one of these blue screens. I had to explain, like, we as cybersecurity companies on a daily basis have to go head to head against hackers, which means we also have to be aggressive. The downfall of that is sometimes when you're shipping out daily new protections against their daily new shady tradecraft, you can get things wrong. And that's exactly what happened here. A small software update from a very large vendor called CrowdStrike had an issue, and the issue actually caused Microsoft's whole system to crash. So if you had a laptop or a server or a device running Windows, and using the CrowdStrike product this morning, if you got the update, you were probably out. And it's been kind of an evolving situation since last night.
So I know a lot of people know what Microsoft is. I don't think a lot of people know the name CrowdStrike. What is CrowdStrike and how is it connected to Microsoft?
Yeah. So think about me and my business, for instance, at Huntress. I protect businesses that fall below the enterprise. CrowdStrike is a great business that at the end of the day, they're kind of like antivirus. The average, company knows what an antivirus is, but it turns out antiviruses are just very static, meaning I can match a pattern, but I can't really match behaviors. CrowdStrike helped take it the step further, and they actually look for behaviors, detections, shady things that a hacker's going to do. And they do that really well for all the biggest companies in the world. So if you think about uh, your large banks, your airlines, your broadcasting companies that might have billboards that, was seen this morning on some folks drive into work, those are the type of companies that use this product. And as a result, the blast radius of a mistake like this is just very large and impacting some of the biggest companies that we all use.
So CrowdStrike helps protect these Microsoft products or Microsoft users.
Yeah, so they'll protect Mac users as well, but their software is in addition. It gets installed on these computers, and their whole goal is trying to be a little bit smarter way to catch the behaviors of hackers. And so that could be looking at emails, that could be looking at behavior of them maybe trying to steal your files or ransom your files. And as a result, they have to generally be everywhere. You don't want to just protect one computer in your office. You want to protect them all. And so when a mistake like this happens, it impacts everybody in the office. So it's kind of a win-win when you're doing your job. But it's also for even people like me, it's a stark reminder that my job is to protect against people threatening productivity. And CrowdStrike this morning, kind of is the one hindering some productivity. So we're obviously wishing them well.
Yeah, and I know their CEO, I believe it is, has been on LinkedIn on every platform, sort of trying to explain the situation. He said today was not a security or cybersecurity incident. Why is that important for my viewers to know?
We should all be thankful. Like if I think about the news over the last couple years, I remember there was the JBS meat situation, right, where a major meat manufacturer was compromised and couldn't distribute goods because their infrastructure was destroyed. Then there was the Colonial Pipeline that raised gas prices for a little while. Even more recent than that was the United Health, and that prevented all kinds of different health vendors, pharmacies from getting reimbursed, paid. So the thing that's so nice about this is one of those situations that we control and the ramifications are fairly understood, as opposed to when you have a malicious hacker that you don't really know what they're going to do. You don't really know what the circumstances are. So this is one of those of, don't get me wrong, it does seem scary, but at least it's understood as opposed to something that could be much more unpredictable if there was maybe somebody more nefarious behind it.
Like I know that there's chaos at the airports. We've got banks, we've got hospitals that have been impacted. Do we think this is going to last all day, or is it really just a business by business case? How quickly they're able to respond to this interruption.
All right, I'm going to give you the boring and then I'm going to end on a spicy, way to end for the viewers. So, when it comes down to it, this is going to be a thing case by case. Most IT folks are using some of the fixes applied by the company and it's working. On a case by case basis, there's some that they're having to have physical access. And with all of us, kind of post COVID now working a lot more remote, you might not have somebody that's an IT geek to go lay physical access. So there is some questions here of like when this happens, are companies prepared for this type of resilience? Now, for me, that's going through the weekend. I think it's going to be way beyond, just like we've seen United Health. Most people thought that incident or the hospital incident that you referred to earlier was going to be maybe a quick restoration, but it's turned out to be a lot longer. I think that's going to happen here. The fallout, though, that I want to, and getting to that spicy side of the hot take, is as a threat actor, I'm watching the situation. And if I hear people reporting, I have an outage, I'm affected by this, I now know two things. I know you're using Microsoft Windows, and I know you're using CrowdStrike. And for me as a threat actor, I can then say, ooh, I can tailor my malicious bad behavior against that product to have better chances of slipping by it. Or even more important, maybe I know you're not using somebody like them and can tailor and target my attacks for maybe somebody who has a slightly weaker security posture. So I think the ramifications short term are going to be IT, but long term, this is a really powerful moment for cyber criminals to take note who is affected, who is not, and to change their behavior and exploit that. So I think this is going to be a lot longer than just the weekend.
So interesting. So maybe we shouldn't be identifying all of the businesses and companies that are
It's very
suffering.
tempting to say, me too, I'm impacted, but I can tell you, you're giving away, certain operational security, certain indicators that somebody on the other end, the nefarious end, would love to know about you. So
Yeah,
maybe
which,
what's that? Loose lips sink ships.
and you would know because you used to try to exploit these vulnerabilities, right? So,
As a prior hacker
uh,
for the National Security Agency, I definitely would be looking for these indicators. So stay vigilant.
all right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.